Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a look outside our weather window. And there's not much to see today. Our air has been very unhealthy and even some hazardous air in parts of Chelan County today. It's just been awful out there as you look down at the Wenatchee Valley. Yeah, that's from the Wenatchee Heights cross camera, our lower camera, and it has just been one of those days with our numbers hovering between 200 and 300 all day long. 300 is hazardous. Shaston did see that earlier today, and it's just been one of those days. But we always talked about it would take a big weather change to get this smoke out of here, and we're going to see it beginning on Friday. It's actually going to begin late tomorrow afternoon with some increasing clouds. And then, folks, temperatures are going to be 20 degrees cooler on Friday with windy conditions and a good chance for rain. And we'll have more on that coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. A 73-year-old Orondo man is charged with multiple felonies after allegedly threatening an orchard worker with a handgun and firing it into the air. A Moses Lake man will serve 17 years in federal prison for drug and firearm crimes. And a Moses Lake agricultural chemical company is facing nearly $200,000 in state fines for dozens of safety violations. But first, our top story tonight. The Chelan-Douglas Health District today reported the area's first flu death of the 2022-2023 season. The health district said it was informed of the influenza death on Monday. Flu deaths have been relatively rare in recent years, with 22 reported statewide last season and none reported in the state during the 2020-2021 season. The health district recommends a yearly flu vaccine for anyone over the age of 6 months, saying the vaccinations are extremely important to people at higher risk, including people ages 65 and older and those with certain chronic health conditions. A 73-year-old Orondo man is charged with multiple felonies after allegedly threatening an orchard worker with a handgun and firing it into the air. Douglas County Sheriff's deputies say on September 27th, Stephen Newton Stannard exited his home on Orondo Point Lane while the worker was mowing grass nearby and pointed a .22 caliber handgun at him. As the worker drove the riding mower away, Stannard allegedly fired 2 rounds into the air. The alleged victim said it was the second time Stannard discharged a firearm into the air in his presence in the last month or so. Stannard was arraigned Monday on charges of second-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and discharging a firearm. He remains free on his own recognizance with a trial date set for January. In other news, a Moses Lake man will serve 17 years in federal prison for drug and firearm crimes. 34-year-old Guillermo Valdez was arrested in July of 2021 after a warrant search of his home on Christine Street found 1.5 pounds of methamphetamine. Earlier this year, Valdez took part in a burglary which stole 11 firearms from a Spokane County home. He then sold those firearms, including one sold to an Othello man who accidentally discharged the weapon and killed his 4-year-old son. Valdez pleaded guilty in April to 2 counts of drug possession with intent to distribute and 2 counts of felon in possession of a firearm. Well, the Moses Lake Agricultural Chemical Company is facing nearly $200,000 in state fines for dozens of safety violations. Two Rivers Terminal, LLC, formulates products for agricultural fertilizer, pulp and paper, and water treatment. Inspectors for the Department of Labor and Industries say they found 46 serious violations of state safety and health regulations at that Moses Lake plant, plus 17 general violations. Employees there were climbing into hoppers to handle ammonium nitrate without proper safety precautions. L&I says employees were also working without respirators, had inadequate safety training, and were working on top of rail cars and trucks without fall protection. The assessed fines totaled $192,620. Moses Lake is one of 3 Two River terminal locations. The others are in Pasco and Oregon. The company has appealed the citation and fines. Well, when we come back, the Montana man rescued last week after being trapped beneath a 2-ton boulder while hiking south of Leavenworth is expected to make a full recovery. Residents will have a chance to hear about the more than $102 million the federal government plans to spend over the next 2 years on reducing the risk of wildfires and smoke effects in central Washington. And the Chelan-Douglas Health Board voted this week to rein in debate during its meetings on COVID-19 and related vaccines. We'll tell you why. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hello, my name is Alan Blackman, and I am running for Chelan County District Court Judge. It has been my honor to serve you as a prosecutor and public servant. I have worked hard to keep our community safe. I have the knowledge and courage, but also the compassion and integrity to address mental health and substance abuse in our local courts. Please vote for the most experienced. Vote for balance, compassion, and integrity. Vote Blackman for Judge.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Welcome back. In another news, the Montana man rescued last week after being trapped beneath a 2-ton boulder while hiking south of Leavenworth is expected to make a full recovery. Members of the Snohomish County Helicopter Rescue Team visited 28-year-old Ben Delahunty in the hospital Tuesday and described his recovery as miraculous. On October 10th, Delahunty was hiking with a friend when a boulder shifted, trapping his legs and wrists in a steep and rocky area near Lake Vivian. A Snohomish County helicopter lowered a paramedic to the site as rescuers from Chelan County Mountain Rescue, the Wenatchee Valley Fire Department, and Cascade Ambulance used ropes to reach the trapped man. They then used inflatable pads to lift the boulder enough to free Delahunty. The injured man was then hoisted out by helicopter and taken to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. The daring rescue drew national attention, including being featured this week on ABC's Good Morning America. Well, residents will have a chance to hear more about the $102 million the federal government plans to spend over the next 2 years on reducing the risk of wildfires and smoke effects in Central Washington. Part of an 8-state plan by the U.S. Forest Service called the Wildfire Crisis Strategy. It includes fire risk reduction efforts on federal, state, and private lands near Wenatchee, Leavenworth, and Twisp. The online community meeting will be streamed live through the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest Facebook page Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Well, the Chelan-Douglas Health Board voted this week to rein in debate during its meetings on COVID-19 and related vaccines, and its chairman chastised the board member who keeps raising the issue. Bill Sullivan is a hydrologist appointed to the health board last winter, despite a history of stoking skepticism about the coronavirus and the safety of its vaccines. Sullivan has failed to pass resolutions that revise vaccine consent forms and withhold the vaccines from anyone under 18, leading monthly board meetings to go on for 3 hours or longer. On Monday, East Wenatchee Mayor Geraldine Crawford successfully moved to limit those topics in future meetings unless they're noted on the agenda.
I think we need a process here so we're not held hostage by revisiting the same conversation over and over again and what that looks like. I would like to consult with legal on how we can do better on that. But right now, then I guess I am just asking, I'm going to make a motion that we move to postpone discussions as it relates to anything COVID related, COVID vaccines, informed consent on vaccines, reactions to COVID vaccines, COVID or COVID vaccine related deaths, until such items are on the agenda in advance of the meeting from here till the end of the year.
So prior to the September meeting, I requested an agenda item, and I actually requested some documents be distributed to the board. The executive committee chose not to do that because, much like Mayor Crawford, they felt like the COVID discussion is over and we don't need to have these discussions any longer. And that's my summary. That might be an unfair characterization.
So I'm gonna say this, Bill. On multiple occasions today and in the past, you've attacked the board and members of this board through comments, whether it's passive aggressive comments that you've made, try to make a point. And I'll be honest with you, as a chair, I don't appreciate it. You know, while I support some of the actions that you have taken, I don't support the fact that you oftentimes lead off with comments, whether it's conjecture or, you know, whether not factually based. Not only the point that you just attacked the executive team, you know, through something that you think is the truth. And there are reasons why the executive team makes decisions that they make in concert with the administrator, who basically are the ones that set the agenda. Okay, I would expect and would appreciate that a sense of decorum from you with regards to the addressing of this board. You can make your points without trying to throw people under the bus, whether it's true or may not be true.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
Dangerous. That's how voters describe this out-of-touch politician, Matt Larkin. Because Larkin said he'd cut veterans' health care and supports a national ban on abortion, overturning protections here in Washington and putting women's lives at risk. Larkin even said he, quote, aligns with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and said, quote, this isn't the time for moderation. That's Matt Larkin, the definition of dangerous.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Time now for tonight's feature story. 12th District State Senator Brad Hawkins and other supporters of clean transportation energy gathered yesterday at Confluence Technology Center reviewing a cavalcade of no gasoline vehicles. Representatives from Link Transit, Washington's electrical workers, and the lobbying group Climate Solutions touted the benefits of electric and hydrogen-powered cars, trucks, and even school buses. Here's what some of the participants had to say.
This is an exciting event. Unfortunately, you can't drive these hydrogen semi-trucks and things, but you can touch them, feel them. You will get a chance to ride in the Link all-electric bus if you want to. And I think it's some huge opportunities here when we look at the hydrogen semi-truck, and Stamilk Growers is not far from here. What if someday we were hauling our apples from not only the orchard to the packing shed and back and forth on the short haul, but what if we were also hauling the world's best apples from Wenatchee to the Port of Tacoma and to the Port of Seattle on a hydrogen semi-truck? You could basically take it over there, unload, refuel, and drive it right back. So I think there are a lot of opportunities.
The thing about the transportation sector is it does a lot of different things, right? Right here we're focused on medium and heavy duty vehicles, but even within that there's a really broad range. We have school buses, we have garbage trucks, we have short hauls, we have long hauls going across the country. And so I think these different technologies work for slightly different spaces of the transportation sector. I think it's really important that we're talking about electricity as powering vehicles, electricity to either create the hydrogen for these vehicles or the electricity straight away to power these batteries. But I think both have applications that are really important, and it just depends on the specific circumstance.
We have just a little under 1 million miles on these vehicles, which is an enormous number for electric. And we're operating them at a cost of 45 cents a mile. That includes all the maintenance, tires, those types of costs on them. Our diesel vehicles are well over $1.40 a mile. So if you take the difference in the cost, it actually pays for the difference in the cost of electric vehicles. Now that's a unique advantage we have with our low-priced hydropower. It's not quite the same case every place, but even if you took the average rates, we can show that the economics work.
Instead of being on the outskirts of transportation fuel economy, we're now in the very center of it. So this is a huge advantage for Central Washington, and we can't wait for the future and the jobs that come with it. Thank you.
Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. And yes, the good news is there is relief in sight from this, and it was an ugly one out there all across the Wenatchee Valley today. Boy, you can barely see the valley. We certainly couldn't see the foothills or even the Cascades today because of that really bad air quality. It really kept our temperature down today too. 67, and that breaks our streak of 18 straight days above 70 in a row in October. So that is the new record. 59 is where we should be for a high. 75 our record in 1981. 45 our low this morning. 40 is normal, and our record low 25 in 1984. Sunrise 7:25, and the sun sets tonight at 6:05. Let's take a look at what we can expect as we get you into Thursday. And I'd like to tell you the air is going to be better tomorrow. Well, it may be a little better, but we're still going to see widespread haze all over our viewing area. Moses Lake 71, Afraid about 73, 71 for Quincy, 70 in Wenatchee, a little warmer down in Ellensburg at 71, and then some 60s from Cashmere up into Lake Wenatchee with a high tomorrow of 62. I'll tell you what, everybody's wondering where the smoke is coming from. Take your pick. Our general airflow is out of the northwest and a little bit of a northerly flow. So we're picking up smoke from the fires along the Washington, British Columbia border, and also, of course, the fires near home here, and that's bringing in that smoke, and we're going to have to deal with it tonight as well. Widespread smoke out there with lows in the mid-40s for us. Boy, not many clouds to speak of yet, but that's all going to change as we get you into Thursday. We're still going to see some widespread haze, maybe breezy conditions in the afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, and that is a change in the afternoon, but we're going to stay warm with highs once again upper 60s, maybe 70 degrees for Thursday. And then Friday, that low pressure system comes barreling down from the Gulf of Alaska, going to bring us lots of wind, clouds, much cooler temperatures, a good chance for rain showers showers. We're only going to see highs on Friday in the mid-50s. That's a big cool down, and that's going to continue as we get you into the upcoming weekend. Mostly cloudy. That area of low pressure will slide down into the middle part of the country. Going to drag that cooler air behind it. Mid-50s for Saturday. Sunday, not much better. And here is storm number 2 ready to make its way our direction. Mid-50s for highs once again is all on Sunday. And then by Monday, that storm makes its way across the Pacific Northwest. Very windy conditions on Monday. Morning rain showers with mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon Monday. High temperatures again on the cool side, only in the mid-50s. And as we get to the end of our forecast, storm number 2 sliding down the coastline, but it's still going to bring some clouds our way, maybe some late day showers, not so much during the day, but as we make our way into evening, maybe even some snowflakes mixed in on Tuesday. That'll be late in the day into Tuesday night with temperatures again on the cool side in the low 50s. Take a look at that 7-day forecast. 47 tonight. Maybe, and I mean a big maybe, that we hit 70 tomorrow with smoky conditions once again. And then those big changes come into play. On Friday, we'll see rain likely in 57 and stay in the mid-50s right through our extended forecast with a good chance for rain showers. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
As nature does its magical change from the green of summer to the orange and red of fall, camping in your old tent isn't going to cut it anymore. It's time for you to get a great deal on a motorhome, travel trailer, or fifth wheel from Click It RV during our year-end clearance event. We need to make room for our 2023 models. Get 30% off, 0 down, no payments for 90 days, and receive a lifetime warranty. Come visit us today off I-90 in Moses Lake and see big savings at Click It RV.
Fellow Chelan County residents, this is Sean Smith. As a local business owner, I understand the increasing challenges of survival. And as a father of 4, I understand the need for a safe environment for our families. As a lifetime resident, I am seeing changes that are not productive or safe. As your next county commissioner, I will work diligently to make sure things get better. County commissioners face a lot more than just community development, and you must be prepared to work on all levels of county government. I am ready, willing, and capable, and would ask for your vote.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. The Yankees advanced to the ALCS with a 5-1 win over Cleveland yesterday. Giancarlo Stanton unloaded a first-inning 3-run home run for the New York to give the Yankees a lead they'd never relinquish in Game 5 of the American League Division Series. Aaron Judge followed with a solo shot. That came in the second inning. That would be his second of the series after a record-setting 62 homers during the regular season. Now, New York didn't have too much time to celebrate before boarding a plane for Houston to face the Astros in Game 1 of the ALCS. That's underway on TBS. Meanwhile, Game 1 of the National League Championship Series went to Philadelphia, who got home runs from Bryce Harper in the 4th inning. The Phillies would also add another solo blast to the upper deck in the 6th inning to give the Phillies a 2-0 win. Zach Wheeler was dominant over 7 innings on the mound, allowing just 1 hit with 8 strikeouts to earn the victory. Game 2 of the NLCS earlier today on Fox and FS1. Highlights tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Well, the Seattle Kraken are back on the ice tonight at Climate Pledge Arena. Still have a hard time with that name. Seattle hosts the St. Louis Blues in the NHL play at 7 o'clock. The game will be broadcast nationally on TNT. Coach Dave Haxtell says having a couple of days to reflect on their last 2 losses has given the team a chance to focus on what needs to be fixed.
I mean, we don't need to forget about anything. We gotta just we take the next day and take the next challenge. We know we're in the middle of a challenging stretch here. We had real good success and felt great coming off the road trip. We've ran into 2 good teams that have played really well, and you know what, they've exposed some areas that we got to be better in, and some areas of consistency that we have to be better. So nobody's running and hiding from anything. I mean, exciting to get back in tonight. This is game number 5 of the night or of the season. We're playing another real good hockey team that's a veteran team, that's a mature team together. And it's a great opportunity for us to get back in front of our fans and go and play hard.
Seattle's looking for its second win of the NHL season, while it will be St. Louis's second game, coming in with a record of 1-0-0. Wenatchee Wild staked a 1-0 lead early in its BCHL showcase game last night against Chilliwack, but the Chiefs would come back and win it by a final of 5-3. Ian Somoza, the man who got the deciding goal in a shootout Monday night against Langley, gave Wenatchee the early lead. The two teams would trade goals after that until Chilliwack poured it on in the third.
Here's Gasparini, center point. Now for Somoza, his wrist shot scores. Beats the glove hand of Siskis. Blocked there, bouncing puck to the line, out to center. Here's a chance, Jones shorthanded. Jones moving in on a breakaway. Forehand, back to the forehand, he scores. Second shorthanded goal of the season for the Chiefs, and it's off the stick of Ryan Jones, and he's tied this game. Here's Somoza, gets to mid-ice, now the shot off the end wall, they score. Oh, Siskis didn't see the rebound go off the glass, and it went right on the doorstep, and making no mistake was Luke Wayland. Damon Dickler was knocked down. It comes back up top, high in the slot. Steele's shot, it bops in the crease, they score! I'm not sure what that hit, if it was a stick or the post, Tyler, but it went in behind Blaha as he was moving back towards his goal. Drifts down low, now to the point. Weed, Leyland again. Rick wide. Scores! Oh, the one-time bomb from AJ Lacroix. It's a power play goal at 8:46 to go, and the Chiefs have their first lead of the game. It's 3-2. Davidson now, that long reach. Now he pushes his man down. Davidson leaves it for Kinch in front. Jones rebound, scores! Dylan Kinch on the rebound. Mario Gasparini to the right side. There's a snapshot, scores! David Hayduke beats the goaltender Lucas Siska. And the Wild aren't done yet with 65 seconds to go. It's a one-goal game. Littler gave it away now to Mateo Mercic. This might do it. It's a 2-on-1. AJ Lacroix's got a yawning cage. Shoots, he scores. With 3.2 seconds to go, there's the fifth goal for Chilliwack. And the Chiefs are going to pick up their first win under the lights here at the Coliseum this season.
Wenatchee finally begins the home part of its BCHL schedule this Friday at 7:05 against West Kelowna. Penticton comes to town Saturday at 6. You want tickets? Go to WenatcheeWildHockey.com. Well, turning to the Les Schwab prep scoreboard from last night, we'll first start things off with girls soccer. Wenatchee came away with a 3-0 win over Davis at Big 9 play, while West Valley assured itself at least a share of the league title with a 1-0 win over Moses Lake. Fred atop Prosser 2-1. There were some big blowouts for the smaller schools on the pitch last night as Cashmere blanked Omak 6-0. Cascade got by Quincy 6-0. Chelan topped Manson 7-0. Tenasket toppled Oroville 17-0. It was Okanagan over Lake Roosevelt 13-zip. Brewster beat Liberty Bell 4-zip, and Pateros edged Bridgeport 1-0. That's a little bit more likely. Other action for last night, Wenatchee defended its home court in prep volleyball, downing Davis 25-20, 16-22. West Valley swept 3 from Moses Lake, 25-12, 13-11. Ephrata took 3 games straight from Othello. For the smaller schools, Cashmere celebrated senior nights with a 25-20, 20-16 win over Omak. Cascade defeated Quincy 3-1. The rest of the matches were shutouts with Oroville over Bridgeport. Waterville Mansfield topped Soap Lake. Pateros beat Entiat. Manson rolled Lake Roosevelt. Okanagan over Liberty Bell, and Brewster beat Tenasket. One match on the tap for tonight as Bridgeport is hosting Liberty Bell. That's coming up at 6:30. That's Look at Sports News. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. On the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Shannon Sims joins me from Health Alliance Northwest. If you're 65 or older, you've been getting the flyers, you've been bombarded with information. It's enrollment time.
Yes, it's annual election period.
And there's no getting around it, folks. If you're turning 65 this year or you're already in it, Shannon's going to give you some information that you're going to want to have on the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. And that'll do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com, or you can give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us, and have a great night.